Hello, John Clark here, proud principal at John Gray High School. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce a new section that we are doing as part of inspiration for our John Gray High School students and part of our comeback better, stronger and smarter. I take my mask off and it's my distinct pleasure to introduce Deputy Governor, the Honourable Franz Manderson, who's agreed to talk to us about his time at John Gray and also some of the successes he's had in our segment that we talk about having been there and done that.
Nice.
DG, thank you for your time this afternoon.
Mr. Clark, thank you very much for having me. I think we're going to go back down memory lane and bring back some fond memories of my time at John Gray.
I hope so. Thank you very much for your time. When did you attend John Gray High School?
Well, from 1976 to 1981. I'm a proud graduate of the class of 1981.
Lots of proud graduates of the class of 1981 doing fantastic things across the country.
Mm-hmm.
What is your fondest memory as a student?
I've had great memories. It's very difficult to sort of tie down to one particular memory, but I made so many great friends at John Gray. I grew up in West Bay. I didn't have a lot of time to interact with people from other districts, but I'm pleased to say John Gray exposed me to persons from other districts, and now I have lifelong friends from all over the Grand Cayman. And we are still friends today. We have a vibrant, chat group for the class of 1981, and I consider some of those persons my best friends. So the friendships that I gained in John Gray certainly is a great memory for me to take with me.
Did you ever see yourself becoming head of the civil service, sir?
Absolutely not. When I graduated at John Gray in 1981, I really didn't have any idea what I wanted to do. My mother was a civil servant, and I had completed some internship at the immigration department, and she suggested that maybe I might want to apply back there for a job just to keep me busy while I found my career. So I thought that was a good idea, and I went back and they took me in, and the rest is history.
And that was back in 1981 as just a paid hourly worker.
Yes, so I graduated at 15. I started immigration on my 16th birthday, the 7th of July, as an hourly paid worker. And, I quickly when I saw the work that was being done at the immigration department, the officers in their uniforms, the impact that they were having on Cayman, their ability to welcome new people to the island, to remove persons who had no right to be here, I was immediately drawn to that, and I must say I had an outstanding career at immigration.
Mm-hmm. What were some of the challenges you faced as a student at John Gray?
Yeah, so I can be honest. There were times when I questioned myself. Why am I doing this? Why am I learning geography? I don't think I ever want a job that's going to require geography. Or maths, learning algebra and those things. I question those things. Today I understand the importance of geography, of understanding the world and even contours and mountains and all of those great things. But there was times that I questioned, why am I doing these things? But today I can tell you, I'm so glad that I paid attention in those classes, that I tried my best, and that I had high caliber teachers who were able to impart that knowledge, and more importantly, teachers that cared.
Mm-hmm. Remind everybody which house you were in.
Dolphin. Proud Dolphin member. Proud.
Thank you. So into the done that section, what positions did you serve in before appointed to the DG? Obviously you talked to us about that first position in immigration.
So hourly paid worker, filing clerk, and then I was appointed to be a clerical officer, which means I became sort of permanent and pensionable. And then I became an immigration officer. And that was, one of the proudest moments of my life. I put my uniform on that day that I got my uniform, that I was appointed. And I stood in front of the mirror and I looked at it. And really, I believed that I had, achieved everything. That was it for me. I had been able to get a sound education, had been able to get a good job, and now my dream job had been become a reality. So my mother had to come and say, "Franz, take off the uniform. You can't go sleep in it. You need to go to bed." But I kept that uniform on for a long time that afternoon, and that being an immigration officer then allowed me to get moved up. So I became a senior immigration officer. I became an assistant chief immigration officer. I became a deputy chief immigration officer. That was it for me. I made a goal at 18 that I would like to become chief immigration officer before I was 40. And I achieved that at age 39. And I didn't have any intention of doing anything else other than being the very best chief immigration officer that I could be. But others had plans for me, and other jobs became available. I was encouraged to take up a new challenge, which I did, which ultimately led to me being here.
Fantastic. How did that time at John Gray prepare you to work in such a diverse society that you now lead?
It was the challenging work there. So, I mean, I didn't find going to class easy. I had to study, I had to work hard. It didn't come natural to me. Some subjects I really liked. Some subjects I didn't like at all. I wish I took auto mechanics, but I decided to take metalwork instead. But not, I wish I could fix my car. But there were other areas that math was not my favorite subject at all. But again, now I understand why it's important to understand numbers and all those things, even in a job like this. So that's sound education that my English teacher, if you ask me who had the greatest effect on me, it was Miss Baldaramas, my English teacher, who really pushed me to exceed and to do well. And of course, writing and being able to express yourself on paper is absolutely fundamental, no matter what you're going to do. So that solid foundation in English really impacted me. And then working in or being around persons from different environments. So West Bay sort of kept together, and Georgetown sort of kept together, and East End is kept together. But that was early days. Those barriers were broke down by sports. And I again learned the importance of participating in sports, and the importance of discipline, the importance of putting your best effort forward always, and also being part of a team. And the team is only as strong as its weakest link. So if you're going to do something, if you're going to be part of a team, take it seriously and try your best not to let your team down.
Yes, sir. And aside from your wonderful family, what would you see as your greatest accomplishment?
I'm not big into awards and all those things, but being right now as head of the civil service, as being deputy governor, next week is going to be 10 years as deputy governor. So next week is going to be a special week for me, that I have been able to do this job for 10 years. I've been, this year will be 40 years for me in the civil service as well. I spent 1 year in the private sector. So those are those things that I've been able to dedicate that time to the betterment of my country, to make people's lives better, to influence people in a very real way, to give persons the same opportunities that I have been given, the opportunities to grow, the opportunities to excel. As leaders, we can only give opportunities. It's for the persons to take advantage of those opportunities. And I encourage people all the time. Sometimes that opportunity only comes once. So take it.
And if you had a favorite phrase or mantra, what would it be? Is there anything?
So I'm a big fan of the British SAS, and their mantra is "Who dares wins," and I'm a big believer in that. Is that if you don't try it, you will never know whether you're good at it or whether it can be done. So if I set lofty goals for myself, I am very goal oriented, but you have to dare to win. And if you continually give yourself those lofty goals, not the easy goals, the more difficult goals, you will be surprised that you can attain them. But you have to push yourself and dedicate yourself to attaining that goal.
And it's so good to hear that message, because it's something that we We push at all levels from the moment they walk in at John Gray about the growth mindset, about believing that you can achieve, and taking away other people's expectations and set your own expectations, or get above the expectations that we set of students. Is there any final advice you'd like to give to the student, the current student body at John Gray High School? Any message?
Well, first, you should be proud to go to John Gray. That's number one. It is now a good school, a rated good school. It has always been a great school. It's now even better. If you think about it, today, 3 members of the class of 801 is in cabinet. Myself, the Premier, Sabine Panton, and the Honorable Minister for Sports and Youth, Bernie Bush. The 3 of us went to John Gray. We all knew each other. We were all friends. And, we have now in the cabinet of the Cayman Islands making critical decisions about the way our country can excel and succeed and to make people's lives better. So right now, my advice would be that aim high and dedicate yourself to lifelong learning. Respect your teachers, respect your classmates, respect that you may have differences, but continue to focus on making yourself, your parents, your teachers proud, and you will do real well.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for your time.